What's up in the magic world? This is going to be a fishing tutorial. I believe that everybody has the capability to fish great. And I'm here to show you how. I believe fishing is not a contact sport. You don't have to touch the fish to be playing the game. I believe fishing is about getting your friends together and drinking a beer. I believe anybody can be good at it. All you have to do is have some tall tales to tell. So we're going to be teaching you, chillax, party environment, and we're going to tell some tales. Yeah, we've seen a lot of comments about teaching you how to fish, You take your line and the plunk. Now we tell stories. I want you guys to comment all your stories in the comments section, Jake, you got any stories? We got Jake on the camera.
Well, this one time, there is a spooky bridge, and every time you would walk over it, there would be a scary sound you would hear in the close distance. It would sound kind of like a whisper.
Niagara.
Yeah.
That's a good story. You can tell yours and I'll tell mine.
So this one evening, some friends were chilling over by the river, and we decided to go over a little bridge and hang out. And
real quick, I want to preface that your story takes place after mine.
Yes, just about a year apart in the autumn, like late summer.
2017?
Yeah, like late summer, early fall. We walked over a bridge, and I was about the last one. I was lagging behind for whatever reason, and I heard a whisper in the distance, kind of like a psst, and it scared the shit out of me. So I came over to Joe over here, and I explained to him, and he freaked out a little bit and said he had the same experience just a year prior at the same time of year.
Yeah. So my time was, I think your story was in 2017, right?
Yeah.
Picture a little cove that comes from the woods, like from a creek, into the Niagara River. We're in the Niagara region, and so there's this little walkway bridge on the bike path. And it was like, as Jake was saying, my friends had ran ahead of me. And we actually were with two separate friend groups during both of these stories. Like, they can all coalesce. I'm not sure if that's
They can attest to it.
Yeah, they can attest that these stories are true. But my friends had ran ahead of me. These are both at night, by the way. Very woodsy area. And I was walking over the bridge, and I hear, psst, hey. I'm like, holy shit, Like at night when you're walking on a bridge. And so I looked around me, and my immediate, I guess flight or flight kicked in. I just bolted down the path. I shit my fucking pants.
Yeah,
and
dude.
So tell Jake about it. You could say, I didn't tell you. I just kind of forgot about it.
Yeah.
I told my friends that night. I freaked out when I ran up to them. But then a year later, Jake comes. This is at the end of his story. He comes up to me at the other side of the path where we were hanging out, because I was with him that night, and he was alone on the bridge. And he's like, dude, somebody just whispered to me on that bridge. And I was like, no fucking shit. Like, we started freaking the fuck out.
Yeah.
And So then we both were like, yeah, we had this terrifying experience of like maybe a pedophile or someone who really likes people with blonde hair, just like in the woods, fucking like creeping on people. Were we underage at the time?
Yeah, I
We were
was.
like I was like 16 and I think you were like 17.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
it happened.
Just about. Either I was 17 and you were
So they
16.
were being real creepy. They scared our pants off.
So yeah, then we heard the same noise walking over the bridge just a short time later, and we figured out there was just some sort of machine or something in the distance that would
like a building.
It would like release some air
like
pressure or
pipes.
something. Yeah. So it kind of took the scare away from that.
Yeah, it wasn't a full scale.
Yeah. No sickos involved.
What are some other tall tales?
What about that one time when you had to shit at Colosso Taco?
Yes, dude. The alien. I don't know if it was aliens, but we
Sounded like aliens.
So I was with my friends Alex and Jason. You may have seen them on the channel, but they hold on. I thought I had a snag. I thought I felt something. We were at Colosso Taco, which is a notorious like gross greasy food place near our house.
Shout out Colosso.
Yeah, shout out Colosso. And I had to shit so bad, and their bathroom was out of order for some reason. I didn't ask why, but I was like literally about to shit myself. And my house was like probably 6 blocks walk away. It wasn't far. It was like a quarter of a mile, you know. And I started walking home. It's a very dark road. It's like covered in trees, barely any street lights.
Just like dark suburban. Nobody out.
Yeah. But I started walking, and first a raccoon scared the fuck out of me, right? But yeah, a raccoon scared the shit out of me, and that's whatever, you know. It's nighttime. I don't remember what's at Colossus. It's like 4 in the morning. We were just, it was late, you know, and so I'm speed walking back to my house to fucking take a shit. I'm like clenching my ass. It's the worst feeling in the world when you're far away from the toilet. You don't want to shit yourself. So I'm walking down Adam, and it's after the skunk scared me. It's like there's 4 blocks to my house, and there's trees enveloping me. And I've said this 1,000 times. I know I sound like I'm a crazy person, but it was like a green noise. It was like a like it sounded like
a droning.
Yeah, if the color green was a noise, was above the trees. And it really freaked me out. I started walking faster and all that. But so that was kind of the end of that part. But I got back to my house, didn't shit myself luckily. And Alex and them come back later. Something fucking wrong. They come back later, and we're chilling in my room, all that, and my brother calls me. I have a brother who's a year younger than me, same age as us, but he calls me. He's at his friend's house that's about a mile away. Actually,
enjoying the magic? Subscribe for more.
But deep into it, Jake lives in a pretzel neighborhood where all the streets are very confusing.
Yeah, you could get lost back there if you're not from there.
Yeah, if you don't know where it is, it's very fucking confusing. So my brother calls me, and he's at his friend's house, and he had gone into a fight with his friend and fucking punched him in the nose, and his nose is bleeding. His friend's nose. Cut. So my brother called me, and his friend's mom had kicked him out. Because obviously it's like he broke, I think we were like 15, 16 at the time. I should have started the story with how old I was. But we were like 15 or 16. My brother's younger, he was 15, I was 16. His mom kicked him out because he broke his friend's nose. I don't know if he broke it, but he told me it was like blood everywhere. And he doesn't know that neighborhood because, like I said, it's the pretzel neighborhood. And He's like, can you please come find me, bro? Can you ride your bike up here? It was like 1 in the morning. Can you please help me out? And I was like, okay. So I tell Alex and Jason, I'm like, I'll be back in like a half hour. I gotta ride up to my brother and help him come back.
You did get to shit though before this.
Yeah, I didn't shit myself. But I ride up to his friend's house. He gave me the address. I had Google Maps. I don't know why my brother didn't have Google Maps. Now that I think back on it.
Yeah, he had a phone.
How did he not know where he was?
Yeah.
You know? But I ride my bike up there, and my brother's like, and so we start walking back home, and we're in that pretzel neighborhood. The town is pretty dark. Like I said about my street, the whole town is kind of spare street lights and trees. It's like a suburb, but like a very woodsy one, I want to say.
There's some forested areas and some trees along the road.
Yeah. But we start hearing that whoop, 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 whoop. And I knew I wasn't crazy at that point, because my brother was like, do you hear that? And it sounded like a fucking alien spacecraft was fucking flying above us. And we were just, when you're with somebody, it's not as scary, you know? But we were just walking, and, well, I was walking, like, slow riding on my bike, he was walking. And it was just very strange. I just don't know what to make of it to this day. Maybe there was some sort of aircraft flying over. This was about like an hour probably past when I heard it on Adams Street, my street, which again, this is like a mile-ish away from each other. I'm not sure.
Mile, 2 miles at most.
Yeah. But it was just strange. I don't know what to make of it.
Completely true, mind you. Not even, no exaggerations.
Yeah. You got any scary stories? I know you do, Jake.
So, yeah, actually on the land that we're fishing on right now, my family's been chilling over here for a while. And,
Jake's cabin, yearly trip.
Yeah. All the homies come down here every year. And, actually not too long after the first year we started coming down here, the neighboring people, like a couple miles down the road, who our family is known forever. I was friends with their son as like a young kid.
Oh, you want to talk about Bill?
Yeah, little Bill.
True story.
Genuine, completely true story. When we were young, we would run around up here and, you know, just do like dumb shit. Run around in the woods, like go on hikes and stuff. Got lost in the woods a couple times. I've like had like sleepovers with them, just doing like, you know, dumb kid shit. We'd play like cops and robbers and whatnot. And, you know, as we got older, we kind of didn't talk as much, but I would still see him around now and then.
The magic?
And we would still I would just like give him a fist bump and we'd talk for a minute, be like, how you doing? He was always a bit of like a rough, rural kid, but like, I always thought it was just because he kind of grew up a little bit rough, like his parents weren't exactly the best, they weren't always there. But they weren't like bad people, they helped build some shit on our property and whatnot. But, just, like I mentioned, not too long after our first cabin trip, which was about 3-4 years ago now.
4?
Yeah, about 4. 2019, what? I want to say, because I was like 18. I was 18.
2018. I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah. No, I think, yeah, this was 2019, because I was 18. And, I, was getting ready for college one morning, drinking some coffee, and I got a call from my dad, and he was like, hey yo, so I just heard that little Bill killed his parents. And I was like, yo, like, what the fuck? Definitely wasn't expecting to hear that. So, you know, as some time went on, we found out some more details. And he, a few years ago, started getting into some drugs and whatnot, but he was, you know, a dude in his late teens, early 20s, so I think, no, he wasn't in his 20s yet. He was 17 at this time, and he was getting into some drugs. I don't know exactly what he was doing. I would just hear he would occasionally take some pills out of his parents' cabinet and whatnot. But I found out that he was going to be sent to rehab by his parents, so he shot both of them. I don't remember how many times, like numerous times in the driveway. What's up?
What drugs was he on?
I'm not exactly sure. We think that he may have gotten into because there are some people not too far that are into it. Like there's been some theft and whatnot in the area, and they're suspected of it.
In his house, in the camera, it's like
it's like
a mile through the woods that way.
Yeah, it's like way down there, about half a mile, up the dirt road.
Like, for reference, we're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, we're like in the middle of nowhere, so it's like super weird. Like, you know, we never thought that there'd be anything on the news from around here. It's like a really small, quiet town nearby. It's like 2 hours out of the city. And it actually became a decently big case after some time. Like, he was on the run because what happened was his parents were like rotting in the driveway for about a week and a half, and the smell was getting so bad that he actually was sleeping inside of a car outside. And he eventually decided he had to do something, so he dragged the bodies inside. But I forgot to mention, when they were outside, there was a couple wild pigs that would roam around the property, and I suppose he left them there because he assumed that the pigs would eventually eat them up.
Peyote pig experience.
Yes.
For you HMW enthusiasts.
Yes. For our longtime watchers, the video Peyote pig experience in the woods took place just a couple years before all this happened. Right over there, right by that.
Behind those other fishing.
Yeah, but behind them, by that large pine tree back there, right at the base of it, there used to be this massive pig, and you can see it in the video. It was about like 4.5 feet off the ground.
I feel like the video doesn't do it justice. We were also super fucked up, but that pig was like this fucking tall.
It was it was like a boar. It was a huge boar because
you can see in the video we're scared.
Yeah, like these people didn't like keep it in a pen or keep it under control. They just kind of let it roam free around the property, so it would walk up the road, and you know, it looked like a fucking bear walking around the woods, and you would just hear it snorting, like a super bassy snort. And that and another pig actually gnawed off some of the limbs of this kid's parents when they were out there, but they didn't consume all the bodies. They just gnawed off like at the hands, and I think like some birds were like eating at their face or whatnot, if I remember correctly. Not positive on that one though. But he eventually dragged them inside and was texting people who knew them, just saying that they were sick. So, you know, they're...
Real quick, we should get a shot of the house. It's like got all the burn. He tried to burn it down.
Yeah. It's actually for sale now, but when he dragged his parents inside, he planned on burning down the house, which I'll get to in a moment. But he actually texted his parents, you know, places of employment and, you know, the friends that they had and whatnot, and explained that they were sick and, you know, they would be back out in a while. They just needed some time, and nobody came up to visit really because, you know, like we mentioned, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, and they didn't have like a whole lot of people that would hang around them often. So after a few weeks went by, he decided it was finally time to burn down the house and, you know, try and get rid of the evidence, make it seem like they died in a house fire. So in the process of him burning down the house, some people up the road seen the smoke and called the fire department, and, you know, they sort of caught him in the act of this. And when he was explaining what happened to them and they went inside to, you know, see what happened, he ran off into the woods because, you know, naturally they were going to discover the bodies in the room where he tried to start the fire, and they were already badly decomposed. So he took off in the woods and was actually he was actually on the loose for an entire night, and it was super weird seeing that on the news and seeing his face on the news. You could look it up. This is a real case. His name is Bill Larson. You could, if you look it up on Google, you could see his mugshot and whatnot on Google Images. Yeah, Bill Larson, Cuba, New York. But yeah. So he was on the run overnight, and...
You gotta tell about when you were a kid. it was like around when we became friends. Like, we were like 9, 10 years old with the fucking gopher in the woods.
Yeah, I do gotta tell that one. So, yeah.
Is any visual differences?
Yeah, so as a side story,
Enjoying the
this one
magic?
time,
Subscribe
when
for
I
more.
was hanging out with this kid, like years in the past, he just stabbed a mole with a pocket knife when we lifted up just a piece of tarp. There was a mole under there.
Any luck?
Oh yeah. So yeah, anyway, he stabbed this mole with a pocket knife. And it was kind of weird because I never seen him do anything like that before. And I was with one of my other cousins, and he was like, "Yo, why did you do that?" And he made up a quick lie and was like, "Oh, they get under your foundation and fuck it up." And I was like, "Well, maybe with like a groundhog or something, like maybe I can see it. Like, don't kill it, but like I could understand that point."
Enjoying the
With a
magic?
mole? Like,
Subscribe
a
for
mole isn't
more.
gonna do anything. They're just gonna scurry around in the dirt over in the weeds and shit. And when I said that out loud, he told me to shh, because he like didn't want to freak out the other kid. And I was like, okay. I didn't really think about it too much though, because I was really young. But anyway, going back to it, when he was found in the morning after he was on the run overnight, they just found him walking down the street, just in the middle of the road, carrying a Bible. And he was just arrested without any trouble. He didn't try and fight back or talk shit or anything. He was just...
Remember the Bible part? That's so weird.
Yeah, he was just peacefully arrested. And which was weird because, we used to run around these hills for years, and they go for acres, and I really thought that he would maybe plan something out, or he had hiding places, or he would just, live in the woods until he was found or got away. But he, I guess, just indirectly turned himself in, and as far as I know, he's in a holding center now somewhere, and I'm not positive if he was charged yet. I think he was, but this was only about 4 years ago, so I'm sure there's still going to be some more news about it. But yeah, pretty fucked up, pretty crazy. And as another side story, actually, these same people, I released a pet turtle that I had when I was a young kid into this pond, and after 5 years or so, it kind of disappeared. So we were like, oh, I guess it moved on to another body of water, because turtles migrate here to there for territorial reasons or to find mates or whatnot. And one day we were talking to this kid's father when he was still around. His name was also Bill, and he mentioned that he found a turtle with a hump on its shell. And we were like, oh, well, that was the turtle that would stay in our pond, because it had a hump on its shell because it was staying a little too close to the I was a super young kid. I didn't know that kind of shit yet. But we released it.
Expert animal keeper now.
Yeah, no, I made sure to do my research.
Oh yeah, we got a crop duster going by.
Plane shot. But yeah, anyhow, we found out these people had my turtle. Because, I'd like to check on it. We released it out here so it would have more space, live a much better life. And, they had it in a bathtub over the course of probably almost a year, and they were just feeding it bread, and they probably kept it in the same dirty water because they planned to eventually make turtle soup out of it. These people would eat animals out of the wild here and there. They really didn't have much of a moral regard for them, which always bothered me because I've always been an animal lover my whole life.
Yeah.
So I did actually get my turtle back because they didn't kill it, and this turtle was a beast. He didn't even seem ill. I just released him back in the pond, and he's actually still around today. We still find him here and there.
Right before we started filming, we saw him like 10 feet in front of us.
Yeah, I'm not positive if it was him, but if anything, he did.
It was a bit small, but
he did mate with a lot of other turtles in here though, and he made some babies. I found some babies in the next couple years after I put him here. So he's just being a boss. He's been through the hood,
yeah. Alright, yeah. So that's what fishing's all about. There's not really a such thing as being bad at fishing, per se. You throw the rod and you tell some stories with your bros. We've been out here for 2 hours.
Yeah, sometimes you don't catch shit, yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with that. All that matters is you had fun. And I want to say that wraps up our fishing tutorial.
Did you have fun, Joe?
Of course, Fishing is just drinking and telling stories with your friends.
Yep.
And pretty scenery, and an excuse to have pretty scenery, and maybe something slightly exciting happens every hour or so. But we got unlucky today, but we still had a good time.
Yeah, thank you for tuning in to this fishing tutorial.